Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7 update 1.49. So this is the biggest update so far of 2024 and one of the biggest updates we've ever received to the game. Alongside it came 6 brand new cars, and in today's video I'm going to give you my initial thoughts on each and every single one of them. So let's get straight into it. First of all, we're going to talk about the BMW M3 from 1997. The E36 generation of M3 is finally arriving in Gran Turismo 7 with update 1.49, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's my personal favourite generation of the M3 to ever exist, and it certainly lives up to the hype. In both stock and modified form, this car drives absolutely fantastic alongside the new physics. It also has the bonus advantage of coming straight into the game with an engine swap available for it. Something that I really do appreciate. Just like in real life, the E36 M3 in GT7 is perhaps one of the most versatile vehicles that we have in game. It can pretty much do everything, whether you want to go for a track day vibe driving the standard stock version, whether you want to go fully upgraded and go for a race version, or maybe even a drift version or tuner version, this car will have you covered in every single sense. Every single tuning option you can think of is fully available for this car, which makes it even better. I'm glad Polyphony didn't skip over the fact that the E36 M3 is absolutely a tuner legend. And then to add to it, they even put the BRZ engine swap in there, which is absolutely fantastic for drift builds. So in the end, when it comes to customization, you can put your own twist and different versions on each and every single one of the M3s that you may buy. I bought 4 of them, going down a different route for each and every single one of them. Now in terms of the fully upgraded version though, or the upgraded version depending which way you want to go, it certainly isn't a car for the faint-hearted. If you want to get the most out of this car, you are going to have to dial it into absolute perfection. However, once you do, this is an absolute machine and a fantastic driving experience. Really enjoying this one so far, no complaints from me. Number 2 is going to be the Genesis VGT Group 1 that we're going to talk about. This is of course the brand new VGT Group 1. I would actually go as far to say this is a fairly decent car overall, a great addition, and I'm glad that it does actually fall into the Group 1 category. Originally I believed this would be the case, but then I did start to doubt myself when I saw the figures that this car was putting out. I thought maybe it's just outside the realms of possibility to actually fall into a category. However, Polyphony have done it. We now have a brand new Group 1 race car alongside this update, and overall it's not bad at all. In my opinion, the original Genesis VGT is not only one of the better looking VGTs, but also one of the stronger in the game. So as soon as I saw this car, I was pretty hyped for it. Again, I was a little bit on the fence with where it would kind of sit. Would it go and sit in the Group 1 category? Would it just be another standard VGT? And I think the fact that this now falls into a category just makes it a better overall car. I'm not disappointed with it. Of course, there isn't the likes of customization options. However, it can be race tuned, and really it can be tuned to your liking. It's not bad in terms of performance. It's certainly not the best of the bunch, but in terms of the new physics engine, it did seem to handle it well. There's a lot of horsepower to put down, and I do find that a lot of its strength is in a straight line. So if you're into that kind of Group 1 car, then this one may be right up your alley. Next up we have the RGT 4.2. This was certainly a car I was on the fence around. I just didn't want Polyphony to go ahead and butcher the potential with this car, and I'm happy to report they certainly didn't, and they definitely did deliver with this one. In terms of my initial thoughts, it's certainly looking good so far. In terms of the standard version, it handles very well. It feels very weighty, very nice to drive. I have no issues with it at all. I'm happy to report that once you start pumping the upgrades in, it pretty much is the same story. Yes, it becomes a much more different sketchy beast. However, once you get it fine-tuned and get it under control, this is a fantastic car to drive. I can see some seriously cool builds coming out of this one. So overall, I am much happier and very glad to report that it definitely exceeded my original expectations. Whilst I didn't think the car was going to be bad in any way, I just honestly thought Polyphony might just butcher a pretty fantastic chance to see the Roof brand definitely more represented in GT7. Something else I'm happy to put my mind to rest about is the customization for this car. It's certainly all there, whether you want body kits, wheels, you can really make some pretty crazy and ridiculous builds out of this. I really like the fact that we can remove that diffuser and remove the rear wing to just make a pretty slick looking build. Or you can go the other direction and go for a full track build as well. Really, nothing is off limits. Like I said, you will probably definitely need that big rear wing and all of that downforce once you start pumping the upgrades into this thing. It's a seriously different beast. So yes, while certainly some cars do get put into GT7 and outright miss the target and just don't live up to the potential, I'm happy to report that once again another roof's in the game and it's absolutely fantastic. So let's move on to the next car. Next up is the Lamborghini Gallardo LP560-4. I made no secrets about it when it came to pre-ranking the cars that the Gallardo just isn't to my personal taste. I much preferred the Murcielagos, obviously we already have those in game. Open-minded as always though, I am happy to report that this car is actually pretty fantastic. It is much better than I originally expected, especially in terms of customization. There is a lot of different builds to go with. Yes, of course we have the standard version in game, but then you can also go ahead and do a replica of the Superleggera. All of the body kit parts are there, as well as a GT3 spec machine as well, which I think is great. You're essentially getting 3 for the price of 1 when it comes to the Gallardo. It's pretty funny sometimes how when it comes to video games, a car that might not be to your personal taste can all of a sudden become a whole different machine and give you a completely different outlook on a car. And I certainly feel this is the way I feel when it comes to the Gallardo. It's a fairly fantastic car and I really do appreciate the fact that you really are getting 3 different cars in one. Again, if you want to go for the track build, do it. If you want to go for the Superleggera, do it. If you want to keep it standard, go ahead. Really, this is a car that can pretty much do it all. In terms of the new physics and the whole PP changes, I could certainly see this being a fairly solid 700 PP build. Definitely something I'm going to be looking into in the future when it comes to the Gallardo. Ferrari 430 Scuderia next. This was the one that came second in my pre-ranking. I'm on the fence at the minute where it might end up in the end. However, to me, this is just sort of a modern day Gran Turismo icon. It really deserves a place in this game and I'm happy to see it. I'm also happy to report that it is a very, very good car. It can be a little bit sketchy, so it certainly requires a bit more fine-tuning than the likes of the Lamborghini. However, once you get it right, this thing feels fantastic to drive. A little bit like the Lamborghini once again. If you want to kind of go down the sort of GT3 built spec road, then you can certainly go ahead and do it. Again, a car that maybe doesn't have the customization of the likes of the Lamborghini or the roof, but definitely deserves its spot on this list. It's a fantastic driving experience. It's one of my dream cars personally, and I think overall it just doesn't disappoint. Now, in terms of the car itself, I did mention that it is sketchy, and that is certainly something you'll probably notice straight away. If you kind of just take it out for a test drive, it can be a little bit tail happy. I think it's just how it reacts to the new physics, and certainly if you put the upgrades on without fine-tuning it, you're probably going to end up having a bit of a bad time. However, if you do take your time to fine-tune this, I promise you this is a fantastic driving experience. Just like with the Lamborghini, I do appreciate when Polyphony go to the effort of sort of putting body kits in there where we can turn one single model into loads of different versions. It certainly feels like the Scuderia is a step in the right direction once again when it comes to that. It's something that we saw with the LFA, obviously the Gallardo now, and of course the 430 Scuderia. It really feels like this car can do it all. Does it still sit second like on my pre-ranking list? I'm not too sure just yet, but once you get this car nailed down, it is certainly a great thing to drive. That leaves just one more car to go ahead and give you my initial thoughts on, and it's the one that I was most hyped for, the Subaru Impreza rally car. Of course, the 1998 spec driven by Colin McRae himself, and I'm very happy to report that this one certainly doesn't disappoint. When it comes to the new physics, I feel like the rally cars on Group Bs have certainly benefited. They feel much better overall, and again, they're even better once they're fine-tuned. They've maybe lost the edge in terms of tyre wear and fuel consumption. However, maybe it's just for the Subaru itself. The amount of power and pace these things can now put out after that last update is ridiculous. I think I had a look at the power output when this has got all the upgrades on, and I think it shoots from something like 299 into the 700 range. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I would go on to say that not only is it very, very good on dirt if you want to kind of keep it standard and go for that sort of authentic vibe, when it comes to the tarmac, this might just be the fastest 700 pp car that I've ever seen. In fact, it was so fast I was able to lap Le Mans during the 700 event in around about 3 minutes 50. It's an absolute rocket ship and a true monster of the Gran Turismo franchise. Talking about that 700 build, I will have a full guide on that Sunday, but in terms of the Impreza, I must say that this one once again does not disappoint and perhaps rounds up one of the best bunches of cars that we've ever had post-launch to GT7. So there we go, that's my initial thoughts on all 6 of the new cars with update 1.49. Certainly an impressive list. Even the VGT has exceeded my expectations by being a Group 1 race car. Overall, it's a fantastic bunch of cars so far. However, this could change when it comes to my full deep dives on these cars once I've had a few more miles on each and every single one of them. Let me know what you think of the update 1.49 cars down below. Massive thank you to all of my channel members. If you do want to join, it really does help me out. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care. Peace.